Hey guys, and welcome back to G's Autos. Thank you so much for tuning in. Alright, I was driving the EB Fairmont the other day and I went to wind the window up and then I heard a loud snapping sound and the window stopped working, and then a couple of minutes later the window disappeared inside the driver's door. So I have picked up a new window regulator for $120. I picked that up from my local parts store. It's just an aftermarket one. You can get them for around, I think, around the $90 mark if you go down the eBay highway. But I was happy with the 120 and I had it the next day, so all good. So this is just a quick walkthrough video, quick tutorial on swapping out the window regulator. So hopefully someone finds this useful if you're doing the same thing. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked the video and thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Alright guys, what we're going to do now is remove the door trim off the EB. Now the first thing you want to do is remove the door button. So when the button is up, sometimes you can lift these straight up and off. If not, just put a rag around it and a pair of multi-grips or something similar and just give it a tug, and that should lift up straight off. Alright, now what else have we got? We've got those good old star headed screws in the door there. Hopefully you can see them okay. And then we've got a couple of Phillips heads up in here on there and a connector inside. And then if you come down, you've also got some Phillips head screws there, and underneath, let's see if we can see them there, along there as well. So just have a good run your hand along, make sure you get all those. And then once all that's removed, there's a couple over here. Once that's removed, we can just lift that door trim straight up. So that's what we'll do now. Okay, now that we've removed all the screws out of the door trim, this plastic door handle trim will lift out. So just gently take that out. It should come out fairly easy. Now, behind this trim, you'll see a little metal bar just in there that needs to come off that surround that's covering it. So we just need to do that now. So we'll get that unhinged. So all I did here was the lever, I just pulled that outwards and then gave it a little bit of distance and then slowly turned it, and then off it came. So once you get it turned like that, it comes off pretty easy. Just making sure I'm not damaging any of the trim around it. Once you've got the little Phillips head screws out of that trim piece there, that just easily comes off, and then you'll see the two connectors there. Once we have those connectors apart, I can then lift up and remove the door trim. Alright, the door trim has now been removed. Now, typically there is a little plastic clip there. That one's been broken at some time during its life. And now we can see the inner plastic, I suppose you could call it dust guard. Now, there was no speaker in here. Apparently the speaker in there died a long time ago. So there was just 3 Phillips heads sitting in there. I've taken those out, and now I'm going to carefully peel off this plastic cover so we can start to get to the internals of the door. When you're removing that plastic trim, just take your time doing that. You don't want to go 100 miles an hour and put big tears or anything like that into it. I was just being particular to make sure it came off okay. Now that the that dust cover has been removed, I need to get that glass up from the bottom of the door. So I'm just going to lift it up, and then what I'm going to do is just put a rag along the top here and put some masking tape over the top to hold that glass up, just to make things a little bit easier when removing the window regulator. So we'll do that now. Alright, what I've done is I have lifted the glass up and I've put some tape on there, as you can see. Now I've given the glass a wipe down on both sides just to remove any loose dirt and dust, just so I can give the masking tape as much grip as possible. So now we're going to move on to the next step. Alright, next step in the process is you'll see these little rivet type gizmos in there. I'm just going to tap the centers out gently and remove those. All right, these came out nice and easy. Just a couple of very gentle taps, and those little pieces come out. And all I used was just a regular punch and a hammer. And like I said, they came out super easy. So what I'm going to do now is get a drill and drill out these rivet pieces, and remove those. And then there are 4 10mm bolts, one there, one in there, and those 2 there. I'll remove those, and then that should release the window regulator from inside the door. My apologies, I did lie to you before. You've got the 2 10mm there, you've got 2 10mm nuts there, and 2 10mm bolts there. Once you've removed those, the window regulator will come apart from the door. Now, keep in mind there's a little push through connector just there. Just push that back through the door, and then that will enable you to disconnect from the wiring harness. So yeah, once that's disconnected, I can take that out completely. All right, this is the old original window regulator. Okay, in case you're wondering what actually went wrong, this here is supposed to sit inside like that one, but obviously it's let go, it's popped out. Look, you could sit here and say, well, just force it back in there and away you go, but look, for the age of the car and how many times that window's gone up and down, I'm just going to replace it. It's done then. This is the new setup. You can see the spring setup is different. So this one's going to go in the car now, and I'm going to put some silicone spray. I'm going to put some silicone spray onto the channels just to lube that up so it's got nice up and down movement, and then happy days, everything can start getting buttoned back up, but we'll walk through that process as well. Alright guys, what I've done is I've taken some of that grease and I've applied that to the channel and to the metal cable, and also to the back side of the channel on the outside. So that's all done, and now I can start putting this back inside the door, and then we'll work through how we get all this lined up as well. Okay, so this is the old regulator. So when it's inside the door, that's what it looks like when it's facing you. So all I did was just basically slide this top section in first and lined up those 2, which came through those 2 holes there. And then once they're on, it's pretty easy then to line up these bottom ones. So all I've done is put on those 2 bottom bolts, tighten them up, put those nuts on, tighten it up. I haven't put those top ones in yet. Now, because we've drilled out these rivets originally, just got some 10mm bolt and nut and some washers to go into that, so that'll keep it nice and firm on the door. That's for the motor assembly. And then once all that's tightened up and that's in position, then we can go through and connect everything up. Same connectors, so it's all good, and that'll be job done. So let's go through and get this motor bolted up to the door. Alright, I've put some silicone spray down inside those channels there. I'm running it down this side here and also on the outer side, and happy days, job done. So what I'm going to do now is just go through and put all of the door trim assembly back on, and the job is done.